What's up, everybody? It's Joel with the one and only Real Broker coming at you with another sales tip. And today we're going to talk about what happens whenever a prospect, or at this point, I would say what happens whenever a lead is rude to you over the phone. So if you guys are ready, let's get to it. So a couple of things to keep in mind. Your follow-up call is always set up by the previous call, whether that was an initial call or whether that was also a follow-up call, and this is maybe the third or fourth follow-up call. Now, you should be asking questions, during the end of your first call or your initial follow-up call that go along the lines of something like, Mr. Seller, when would you like to hear back from me? Mr. Seller, when do you think it might make sense for us to talk next? Mr. Seller, how should I proceed? Right? So you should get them to tell you what to do next, right? And even if you don't, okay, you have to know their motivation, you have to know the situation, and from there you can determine, whenever the next call would be appropriate, right? Now, if you follow up too aggressively, of course, they're going to get upset. Remember one thing, motivated prospects love motivated salespeople. Unmotivated prospects love unmotivated salespeople. So you got to catch the wavelength, right? You have to, ride the wave and see where they're at, and you have to match their frequency. Now, let's say you set up that call perfectly, and they said for you to call back in the beginning of February, and just for whatever reason, they were having a bad day, or they were whatever, right? But they were rude to you over the phone, and they say something along the lines of, I told you we're not ready, or I told you we're not selling, or I said we're not interested. And automatically that's just because they're having a bad day, because you're looking through your notes and they said, looking to move out of town, blah, 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 call back on this time frame, right? Now, if they're rude to you over the phone, sometimes they could just be rude and hang up the phone and you have no say, what to do after that. At least not until you watch this video, right? Oftentimes they could be a jerk and they could stay on the phone and linger, and you can continue to talk to them, right? Now, one thing that I want you to do is I want you to humanize yourself. Make yourself a human, a real life person, because to them, you're some random salesperson over the phone. They don't know you, they don't care about you, and most importantly, they don't owe you anything, right? So you have to learn how to humanize yourself, right? So if I'm on the phone, if we do a little role play and I call ring ring, I talk to them, said, hey, I was just circling back around to you, wanted to see how things were going with the family. I know this was going on last time, blah, 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 and see if, you had any questions on the market, right? Or, your opening line could be like, hey, I made a little bit of time in my schedule. I didn't want you to think I had forgotten about you. Just wanted to see if you had questions on the market. There's been a lot of activity, I'm sure you know. So at that point, they're rude to you, right? Now, the very first thing that I say is, hey, Mr. Seller, I hope I didn't offend you. Last time we talked, you said for me to give you a call in this time frame. Okay, so remind them what they said. Say, I hope this call didn't offend you, right? You have to get on their level. And then I would proceed with something along the lines of, hey, look, Mr. Seller, I don't really like making these calls. I get a little bit nervous. I'm a real human being also. Now, if you don't ever want me to call you back, that's completely fine. Last time you spoke, you said that this would be appropriate time for us to talk. Okay. Now, usually they lower themselves down, right? Depending on how assertive you are with that type of response, right? So it's not really a script. It's just a type of response. It's a framework. You say, hey, Mr. Seller, I hope you didn't offend you. You told me to call you in this time. If you never want me to call you ever again, that's fine. Just let me know. I won't call you. But this is what you had said. I hope I didn't offend you. So now what to do whenever they're rude and they hang up on you, right? Because that happens often. Usually they're not nice and they stay on the phone. Sometimes they are, and I take, that sort of approach that we just talked about, which can come out a million different ways. But let's say they hang up on you. What do? I call them right back. I call them right back and I said, hey, Same thing. I hope I didn't offend you. You know, if you don't want me to ever call you again, that's fine. Just let me know and I won't. Would it make sense for us to stay in touch anymore or not? Either way, no big deal. Just let me know how to proceed. So again, you humanize yourself and then you give them the ability to break ties, right? That's super important. Allow your prospect to say no. Allow your prospect to tell you to kick rocks. Okay, that'll bring them closer to you, right? You push them away and naturally they want to get closer. So if you guys found that useful, if you guys have leads that are sometimes being rude to you over the phone, just think about how you set it up, and then think about how you're going to recover the fumble, right? Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you guys found value of this, hit me up. Let's talk. Let's see what it's like to work together over here at Real Broker. Until next time, you guys take it easy.